Before we start, here's a quick guide from Lord Garbelius. Please drop down in the description, give him your support, jump on his Patreon, check him out. Really good stuff. Thank you, Lord Garbelius. What's up, everybody? Soul here with another sort of Convallaria video, and today we're going to be taking a look at our girl, Afra. She's here. She's putting everybody to sleep, and in a good way. And yeah, she's absolutely a blast to play. A really cool and unique kit. I really appreciate her abilities. With that all said, let's start talking about her trait. Now, if we see right here, her trait is called Dream Catch. Its magic attack and healing effects are increased by 6%, and she's immune to frosty tiles. At the end of the turn, she inflicts Nightmare on all enemies within 3 tiles of the character. If the target already has Nightmare, it additionally inflicts Labyrinth of Dreams 1. All effects last for 2 turns. So Labyrinth of Dreams is pretty gnarly. What this does is it's a mark, it puts enemies to sleep, gives little Z's over their head, however they're not actually asleep. With that said, when being inflicted again, or the duration is over, 20% of all damage taken in Labyrinth of Dreams duration is calculated, which should not exceed 400% of her magic attack. When being inflicted again, it additionally deals piercing damage equal to 20% of the caster's magic attack. This instance of damage can be counted as damage taken in the Labyrinth of Dream duration. This effect cannot be dispelled or immunized. And so that's pretty massive. So basically when they have this up, any damage they're taking is going to be applied again, 20% of it at least, and no more than 400% of her magic attack, which on mine, her magic attack is on average about 3,000, so 400% of that, it's a pretty huge chunk of damage. It's nothing to scoff at. So good solid amount of damage if you can fill it in and get it going. This is really, really nice. Really good for bosses and big fights with enemies with large HP pools, free damage essentially. At 2 stars, we see that she gets a nice little bump where it's all enemies within 4 tiles gain that Nightmare. At 3 stars, she gets a 2% boost up to 8% magic attack and healing effects. And then you see right here, a little bit of a change right here. Inflicts Labyrinth of Dreams and 1 random level 2 debuff on top of that Labyrinth of Dreams Nightmare. You're getting that level 2 debuff applied to those enemies. And then coming down here at 4 stars, it jumps up to 10% of her magic attack and healing is boosted, which is really nice. And that's all enemies within 5 tiles. That jump happens at 3 stars, by the way. And then at 5 stars, she goes up to 12% of her magic attack and healing effects. It's really nice. Movement is increased by 2 tiles. That's also very, very nice. And then she inflicts Nightmare on all enemies within 6 tiles now. And then you're inflicting Labyrinth of Dreams 2. Which Labyrinth of Dreams 2 bumps it up to 30% of the damage taken with a max of 600%. Really, really big. So needless to say, this is a character you want at 5 stars. If you're using her, absolutely pops off at 5 stars. Her trait, getting that Labyrinth of Dreams at 5 stars is massive. Really, really big for her. I would highly suggest her go 5 stars if you're using her. With that said, let's take a look at her abilities. Now, her inherent ability is Healing Spell. Heals all targets by 100% of her magic attack and then dispels 1 debuff from the target. Nothing wrong with this. Fairly decent stuff right here. Nice little healing ability. Now, at rank 1, you have on the right Echo of Revelry, and that's a passive. After actively casting a class skill, it heals all allies within 3 tiles for 20% of her magic attack. Obviously, I don't have this unlocked, so I haven't used it. Seems decent, so if you're really interested in extra heals or you're needing them, this might be decent. I picked up what was on the left right here, Fantasy Whisper. And this is piercing damage, single target attack, deals 70% magic attack is damaged. Before attacking, it inflicts Nightmare, vulnerable 2, piercing, vulnerable 2, and if the target already has Nightmare, it inflicts Labyrinth of the Dreams. And after attacking, it inflicts Sleep. So this is really, really nice. I did use this on my DPS build, playing around with her, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was fairly decent, so yeah, I can definitely suggest picking this up at rank 1. Now up here at rank 3, you have Tread on Snow on the left. This is piercing damage. It's instant. She transforms into a fawn and jumps to the target tile, then deals damage equal to 20% of her magic attack to all enemies within 2 tiles of where she lands. Pretty nice stuff. 3-turn cooldown, no cost. It's really nice. This is a lot of fun. Absolutely great. Definitely worth picking up. Is this what you use your Castellan or not? I don't know, because I have to highly suggest what's over here on the right, and that is Dream Telling Game. This is a passive. At the start of the turn, she casts Dream Telling skill one time and gains 1 energy. Dream Telling skills can be cast in the order of Dream Entered, character gains meditation, which is energy replenishment, and then Dream Enlighten dispels 2 debuffs from all allies in battle and grants them attack 2 for 2 turns. Really nice. And then Dream Blessed, and this grants physical defense and magic defense 2 to all allies in battle. And so I really like this. Yeah, I thought this was absolutely phenomenal. I used this quite a bit and really enjoyed this. This is almost something that I felt like I just absolutely had to have on her at all times. So I almost would suggest you pick up this over the Tread on Snow and use this Castellan on Tread on Snow. Either way, rank 3, you absolutely need a Castellan. I'll let you choose which one you want. But Dream Telling Game is something I just absolutely felt myself wanting all the time. Up here at rank 5, you get her reactions, which is Endure. It's a reaction. It takes 50% less damage over time. That's pretty interesting. We haven't really seen too much of a need for that yet, but there might be a place and a time when we absolutely need that. I picked up what was on the left, and that is Run My Fawn. It's a reaction at the start of the battle. She gains Unyielding. And so Unyielding is when she's defeated, she returns to battle with 35% of her HP back. Really good stuff right there. And then she cannot, this cannot be dispelled, and when taking active attacks, it reduces damage taken by 15% and transforms into a fawn with a 3-turn cooldown. And then of course, when you're a fawn, it says you cannot move. It reduces damage taken by 30% and transforms back into Afra after 2 turns. And then you're healing your allies at the end of each of her turns for 60% of her magic attack. Then you pick up a couple abilities. One is an instant where you basically can move around, do some different things. We'll show you that later. Really good stuff. Up here at rank 7 on the right, you have Awakening Dreams. This is single target healing. The healing equals 80% of the character's magic attack and grants the target innocent dreams. Be removed when being attacked or at the start of the turn. After being attacked, it recovers HP equal to 50% of the caster's magic attack and gains physical defense 2 and magic defense 2. And for 2 turns. At the start of the turn, it increases healing amount by 100% of the caster's magic attack and additionally gains attack 2 and dispels and becomes immune to attribute debuffs. So this seems like a really good healing spell. I picked this up just to have it in my arsenal with the Castellan. I absolutely don't think this is something you have to have. And when you're in your fawn state, she turns into that deer, she gets this ability and she has it right then and there. So this isn't something you need to spend a Castellan at all. However, if you just want it to have it in your arsenal, feel free to grab it. It's there. Yeah. Over here on the left is what I would suggest you to pick up. And this is Phantom in Fantasy. This is piercing damage ability right here. It deals damage equal to 50% of her magic attack to all enemies within 3 tiles of the target range. Before attacking, it inflicts Nightmare, vulnerable to piercing 2. If the target has Nightmare, it additionally inflicts Labyrinth of the Dreams. All effects last for 2 turns, and of course, once again, it inflicts that sleeping on enemies with injured or Labyrinth of the Dreams states. This is really nice. This is her go-to ability. You're going to absolutely want to use this quite a bit. That 3-turn cooldown is a little bit of a bummer. But I found when I paired her with Coco, it really was negligible. It didn't feel like long at all. So I'd highly suggest you to get this ability. Really nice, huge AoE that does really good things for your team. It's an absolutely must-have ability. Rank 9, she gets her basic attacks. We have Merciful Strike. We've seen this before. It's absolute pass. You definitely want Proverb in Fantasy. This basic attack is busted. Single target attack deals piercing damage equal to 50% of her magic attack and inflicts 1 random level 2 debuff and Nightmare for 2 turns. After attacking, it has a 30% chance of additionally inflicting sleep and is guaranteed to inflict sleep if the target is injured. So this is a phenomenal basic attack, and it's an absolute must grab. This is what you want on her all day long. Of course, if you want the Merciful Strike for the heals, there's nothing wrong with that, but Proverb and Fantasy, I don't see how you can't have it. And then up here at rank 11, you have Light of Healing. It heals all allies within 2 tiles around the target for 60% of the character's magic attack and dispels 1 debuff. Like I said, if you're building or healing, you might want this ability. It has no cooldown, 2 energy costs, seems fairly cheap, and then you can cast it in the AoE. It's nice. However, I picked up on the left right here Calamity of Ice Field. Its piercing damage deals 60% ice AoE damage to all enemies within 3 tiles of the target range. Creating this many ice tiles is busted. This is really, really nice. It's massive AoE, 4 energy cost, and there's no cooldown. This is a phenomenal ability. This is going to absolutely be helpful in the future, especially if I want to run like an ice team or anything like that. So she is awesome and better for having this ability, and I would absolutely urge you to pick this up at rank 11. Moving right along, let's talk about the build. Now the first thing I'm going to show you is the healing build. Now, of course, in our basic attack we got that Proverb Fantasy, we got Run My Fawn. We're going to use Dream Telling. I absolutely love this ability. I think it's a must-have. Yeah, it just does so much. I already covered that, but yeah, moving on. We got Tread on Snow as her second ability. This Fawn, her ability to heal while in this Fawn mode, she's absolutely doing a lot. She gets for free a big healing spell. She's doing AoE heals as a passive. Like this Fawn is all about the heals, in my opinion. There's more to it than just that, but that Fawn is huge for the healing, and this is something you absolutely want on her if she's doing the heals. Now, I talk all the time about not really having a huge heal meta right now in the game, and I really feel that way about it. Phantom Fantasy is what I picked up as her third ability, because I really just don't think you need that many heals on anyone at any given time. Just a little bit of heals in your kit usually goes a long way. With that said, feel free to supplement this and change it out if you want to pick up another healing ability like her healing spell she starts with, of course. And then, of course, I've got that Awakening Dreams. That's a fantastic option, too. It's really up to you. I don't think she does best in her healing. But moving on, we got Dream Turbidity as her weapon. We're going to use that in all of them, so I'm going to skip over that over the future builds. However, for her trinket, I've got Shield of Justice on her. I really like her having a little bit of bulk. She turns into that Fawn. I want her to have that extra damage mitigation, which is why I picked the Wand and the Pentacle as her resonance. She's got the physical shield. She's getting a nice little buff right there. And then she's doing a little bit of AoE heals each time. But if you want to switch it out and go for like an old Scrolls of August and whatnot, there's nothing wrong with that. I just like her to be a little bit hardy. She's jumping in and out of there. I absolutely love Temptation of the Devil on her. There really aren't too many fights where you're going to be utilizing her outside of boss fights, of course, where she's not going to be doing tons of damage over time to all these enemies. That's her specialty, is crowd control and doing a lot of damage to a lot of enemies and kind of putting them all to sleep, using her damage over time, and of course that sleep. So Devil is the best whisper on her in my opinion, but of course if you're really interested in running her on the heals, you can definitely switch that out. There's nothing wrong with running a healing whisper like Mercy of the High Priestess. It'll absolutely do a job and you'll enjoy it. But for me, I think this is how I would build her for the heals because of that low heal meta in the game. Up next is the DPS build. And so for me, we have the similar abilities, of course, with her basic attack and reaction. We are absolutely keeping Dream Telling game because I love that ability. It just does so much for everyone. And then we're picking up Fantasy Whisper as her second ability in this DPS build. This is what we're going to be utilizing. It's single target, but it's doing some of the same as what her AoE does, and it's just another way to apply it and get it out, or she's going to be doing it more actively, and it's really, really nice. You don't really have a huge interest in turning her into a Fawn. You're skipping out on some instant damage, don't get me wrong, AoE and whatnot, but what you're sacrificing in that is the ability to cast at a bigger range, more sleep, and damage over time, and of course that those vulnerabilities and whatnot. And so, especially in boss fights, I really like to have this and to just keep it applied, keep applying the pressure and the damage with that single target. And then the other thing we swapped out is on her trinket and her resonance. The trinket, we picked up Origin Hourglass. We really want her to stay mobile, to keep going and not lose her speed, because she does have really high speed. And then we got that resonance with the sword and the wand, where she's gaining more attack and defense per tiles moved. And so we're absolutely utilizing all that to maximize her damage and hitting hard while moving. Lastly is what I call the Bruiser DPS build. This is how I prefer to play her. Out of all the time I've been utilizing her, this is where I had the most fun. And so we're keeping the course the same basic attack and reaction. We're absolutely keeping that Dreamtail in game because I love it so much. We picked up Tread on Snow again, and then we keep that Phantom and Fantasy, which we kept in all of our builds. However, this Tread on Snow, I had a lot of fun with this because in this build, she's got a little bit more bulk because we swapped out for the Evergreen Pendant, where she's going to be picking up those heals and getting support from her team. She's going to be getting buffed for doing so. And then, of course, each time she's casting and utilizing different things, she's getting buffed as well. I really found a lot of synergy with her and SP Sophia, regular Sophia, Coco. And so there's a lot of heals in there. Long story boring. And so I really, really benefited from buffing her up. She kind of just became a monster. She was unstoppable. And she's just constantly controlling the enemies, doing good damage, you know, you name it. So let me just show you. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to give you the battle example right here. So here we are. This is the hard version of the fight. And in this, we got our girl Kaya. I thought it'd be fun to include her because she's missing in the game. And honestly, she's a phenomenal character. Anyways, Afra enters her dream state there, as we saw, thanks to her passive. We got tons of enemies to clear out and take care of. We have teamed her up with Convallaria, Coco, and SP Sophia. We're going to go ahead and get that co-defense and attack up. Get everything all prepped. Enemy starts moving over. Now they're going to be really nasty and mean really quickly, so we got to handle them. So we're going to fawn up, move forward, and start applying some of that damage. Tavari coming up doing his thing, erases one of them. Kaya gets a little roughed up right there. Coco giving that damage resistance and damage up. SP Sophia with a great attack. Kaya's getting beat over there. We lose the match if she dies, so I think we're going to teleport her out of there. We'll put the guard up, actually. So here they come. They're starting to group up exactly what we want. We move over as a fawn. Come out of the fawn form, which you can cancel. It is an instant. And then we cast her AoE. Really, really nice. Lots of extra mobility and movement in that fawn form. And then Convallaria does his big old oppressive attack, massive AoE. Kaya is not too squishy. She can take the hits and keep on rolling. SP Sophia getting the heals out. That's why we just did standby. She did a little extra healing. Kaya comes over and joins us. Great coverage and heals from Coco for the norm. We return into that fawn. We get a nice little basic attack in. Convallaria moves up, doing the same. Applying roster and taking them out as we go. So we have absolutely mowed through the center here. And we got a little bit of a group moving to our south, coming right at us. Kaya doing Kaya things. We should all be enjoying that in the game right now. Where's she at when we get her? Nice simple movement with Afra, moving over, debuffing, getting damage out. We teleport Kai out of there just to make sure she stays safe, keep her topped off. Get the heals out with Coco. Nice big assisted attack, joint attack I should say, from SP Sophia. Good damage. We're not too fussed about the divine archery. Here comes some reinforcements. There they are. Here we go. Cancel our fawn form. Get a nice big AoE out from Afra. Messing these enemies up. Now if you take a note right here, I'm going to actually pause it. You can see right here, the Z's are symbolizing that they have that nightmare in the Labyrinth of Dreams. The bubbles signify that they're asleep. It's really confusing because the Z's you'd think they'd be asleep with that, but they're not. That's a unique effect to Afra and what she's got going on. The bubbles is what indicates their sleep. You won't always have them asleep while they're inflicted with Nightmare, so be warned on that. Great damage. Another joint attack. Good stuff there. Awesome. Awesome animation from Kaya. That passage is doing work. Great, beautiful basic attack from Afra. I love it. Good stuff there. Kaya doing Kaya things. Really good character. Can't wait to have her. Another big AoE from Afra. So as you can see, we have a phenomenal number of buffs. Really enjoying having double wand and the evergreen pendant. It's really nice. Her magic attack is over 5,000. It is great. So we want to cancel that and get out of this. There it is. Convallaria doing Convallaria things, just erasing people on the map, no big deal. Coco getting that Iron Pot Stew out. Another joint attack. Lots of energy to spare. So this is a great example of what I was talking about. As you can see right here, we have Convallaria. It's not my turn. Hang on. I gotta end it on my turn. There we go. So, as you can see right here, we have Convallaria. Convallaria has quite a few things on him, but if you notice, he does not have sleep. And so, no bubbles, but he's got the Z's. That's misleading. So your enemies aren't going to lose their turn when you see the Z's. Just make sure you watch out for that. That's one thing I know. Caught me off guard. And then this, rather than dreams, Mark, it says sleep. He's still going to act. He's still going to do his turn because he's not actually asleep. Unlike this guy right here, which unfortunately I missed it. He was actually asleep. And he missed a turn there. He took damage. Either one. But yeah. Big difference. Oh, I'm sorry. This guy's a perfect example. He's got the bubbles. Perfect. So when we scroll down, we can see he's got that sleep. He cannot take an action. It's totally different from the others and what he has going on there. With that said, carrying on. Sorry for that. Beautiful movement. Moving up, getting the damage out, putting their Nightmare on our enemies. And then coming up with Convallaria with the big smack. Make everybody hate life. Lots of roster applied. Lots of damage out. Coco's smacking him. Specify smacking him. She's so bulky, she's just not bothered right now, Afra. All those devil charges and everything else. Absolutely awesome. Another Iron Pot Stew. Joint attack. Getting that damage out. Another AoE. Now, if you notice in this team, we didn't bring our full roster. I wanted to showcase Kaya a little bit. I really wish she was in the game. But if you brought somebody else in this team, you'd want to bring somebody with lots of damage. Good stuff. Way to finish that. As I was saying, you want to bring somebody with lots of damage. Why is that? Because of Afra's ability. She's putting them in that labyrinth of dreams, so they're taking extra damage at the end of it when it's over. And so all the damage that you're applying, 20% of that will be reapplied for free. And it would be up to 400% of her magic attack. So currently her magic attack being 3,078, she's going to do roughly 12,000 damage just for free at the end of that duration. So you want to make sure you bring people, somebody that can do a lot of damage to make sure you're hitting that number. Convallaria does a great job. I think he's phenomenal and does some really good damage. And of course, SP5, she gets lots of assisted attacks, extra piercing, all this, that, and the third in there. But I would bring somebody who's just a sincere hard hitter like Estra. Would be a great example, just to make sure you hit that threshold and you hit those numbers. With that said, I really wanted to showcase Kaya. That's why I utilized her there, and I didn't bring an extra team member. I think Kaya is a phenomenal character that we deserve, and hopefully we get soon. With that said, this is my favorite way to play her. As you can see, I don't think it's what would be considered the meta. I don't know other people will recommend anything like this, but the double wand with Evergreen Pendant and her being highly mobile and as a bruiser, I absolutely love it. Now, if you've taken her in a boss fight, I'd urge you to go back to your DPS build, and instead of Temptation of the Devil, I have to stress, I'd bring Redemption. I'd bring Redemption on her all day long instead of the other. You're going to want her to get up close, deal the damage, do the thing, and then of course you want that Redemption Judgment. Let me find a good one right here. I'm sitting here yammering. There we go. So you'd absolutely want her to get that Judgment on them, doing an extra bit of damage, 10%. And then of course you're dispelling those buffs and whatnot. I think Redemption is the go-to outside of the Devil for her. That is her other Terror Whisper. It's effective. Of course, if you're healing, there's nothing wrong with using High Priestess instead. But for me, Redemption is her number 2. And Temptation of the Devil is her absolutely best in slot, because she's built to do some crowd control AoE and put people to sleep. And a lot of boss fights, you're not going to be able to do that. And so you're going to utilize her to her most effect, in my opinion, in fights with lots of enemies. So Temptation of the Devil helps you with that. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's definitely a little bit different, maybe. I don't know. Her kit's pretty unique, and it's only made me enjoy her more. I enjoy characters like this. They make the game fun and enjoyable. I don't like to just absolutely go out there and smash things. I think the content all is fairly easy anyways, and so characters like Afra create a new play style and a way to enjoy the game, and so she really changes things up for me. I would have absolutely loved her in Tower of Adversity against Tranquilo, and seeing what we could have done there to help her control those waves of enemies. And I hope for that content to come in the future. Fingers crossed, right? Because she is a ton of fun, an absolute ton of fun. So if you're playing this game to enjoy it, which I hope we all are, I would not urge you to skip her at all. I'd urge you to actually pull on her, get her, and enjoy the game if this playstyle fits what you would want to do. Otherwise, by all means, skip her. She's non-meta. I get it. Whatever. Move forward. Huge shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you so much for the support and allowing me to pull these characters. Really means the world to me, and it allows me to do a lot with the game and to get these guides and get this information out to our community. So big time thank you. And once again, huge shout out to Question Wake Up. Big donation to the channel, allowing me to absolutely pull on all these characters that are coming out over the next little bit here. So really appreciate you. With that said, make sure you check out our link down below. We have a Patreon link down there if you want to support the channel and ensure that we're able to do everything we need to do for the future Sword of Convallaria's guides, content, and so on coming out of this channel. And then also we have a link to our Discord where we talk all things Sword of Convallaria and then some. We'd absolutely love to have you aboard and with us. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying the game. I wish you all the best in any and all of your endeavors, but especially in Sword of Convallaria and in your pools. Let me know what you think. Please drop down in the comments. Make sure you tell me all about it. I'm eager to see and hear your feedback on Afra. Even if you're skipping her, just tell me about it. If you're playing her and you love her, you like her, or you don't like her, let me see it. Let's talk about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best. Bye.